Welcome to Mystic Wisdom Dialogues. This is a reading from Love Without End by Glenda Green, where Jesus is speaking about his early life and his relationship. So we just came upon the part where it says, Glenda asks him, "Did you marry?" And he says, "No, I did not. Foregoing marriage was an unfortunate sacrifice, considering that I enjoyed every richness of human experience. It was also a radical choice in a culture that did not even have a word for bachelor. However, I would not have married unless I could have done so without reservation. It would not have been possible for me to be a good husband and father in the light of my greater purposes and priorities. Not to mention the grief and hardship my eventual sacrifice would have brought upon my wife and my children. After my resurrection, my body's biological matrix had been transfigured into my spiritual essence, so it would not have been appropriate to engage in physical relations of any kind. Even though I was able to be fully visible and present on earth, and make my body completely sustainable when called for, I remained in communion for higher ends." Jesus, again, still speaking. "Actually, the most important reason I chose not to have children is that the intensity and the purity of love that I brought into my life resulted in a DNA change in my body. It was not my desire or covenant to start a new race of humans in the biological sense. I love humanity as it was created and have every conviction that it can be changed from the inside out through realization of its true nature and reunion with God. To accomplish that was a sacred covenant, and it could not be cut short or even overridden by any new biological lineage. Those who I believe I left behind a personal family line are either misled or else posturing for power in some exceptional status, which has no basis in reality. There are many heirs extending from the rest of my family and the apostles' families. They migrated mainly to France and England after the fall of Jerusalem." Here it gets even more juicy. Glenda says, "Who was Mary Magdalene?" Jesus replies, "She was an extraordinary woman, to whom I gave a special place among my apostles." That was another radical choice I made, so I will tell you the story leading up to it. Mary was about 10 years older than I was, and a widow when I first met her. There were no men in her husband's family to whom she could remarry, which was a custom in that day, and she was beyond the age of safely bearing more children. She had 2 older sons who were killed in skirmishes with Roman soldiers, and 1 small daughter named Sarah. Sarah was very much like her mother Mary, and because of my deep friendship with Mary, was like an adopted daughter to me. Sarah is the mother of a lineage that many legends have misattributed to me. Mary was fortunate in that she inherited her husband's sizable estate in Magdala. She had 2 sisters, one who lived in Jerusalem, and many female friends who kindly included her in their circle of support. I first met Mary with some of these women and noticed how traumatized she was from her great loss. In addition to being emotionally distressed, there were physical ailments seriously draining her life force. I cast out the disease of her spirit and healed her body. At that moment, we recognized that our meeting was an appointment of destiny. She would be with me until the end. Her life had been set aside for that very purpose. Contrary to modern fiction and romantic speculation, she was neither my wife nor a romantic companion. Nothing transpired between us that would have ever compromised her integrity. However, at many times, she supplied the tenderness, emotional support, and nurturing that filled the vacuum of not having a wife for me. Her daughter Sarah was my constant delight and gave me an opportunity to foster special abilities and consciousness in a very young one. Mary was a brilliant woman. In addition to natural gifts of intelligence and insight into human nature, she had been blessed with an exceptional gift from her husband, who had been a scholar. In those days, women were shunned from learning and forbidden to read the Holy Scriptures. Her husband, however, had shared everything with her in secret. Not only was she literate, but also more knowledgeable than most men of that day. She had even traveled to Egypt with her husband and studied the history and teachings of that tradition. Mary was well prepared for the role she was about to play with me. She stood alongside the men with equal wisdom, and her light outshone many of the men. Moreover, she had a natural aptitude for healing and was well schooled in herbal medicine, incense, and anointing oils. Perhaps Mary's greatest gift to my followers and to me is that her compassionate heart and difficult past experiences had taught her how to transcend fear. So that was her superpower. In the days before and after the crucifixion, her counsel was priceless to us all. What made Mary controversial, leading to disapproval and denial by some, is that I consecrated her as the apostle to women. In those days, a man could not reveal certain knowledge to a woman, nor even the secrets of his heart to any woman who was not united to him in marriage. This points to what many writers and speculators clearly miss today. If Mary had been my wife, there would have been no controversy at all. More importantly, her role in the expanded community would not have served for the elevation of all women. I asked that the men accept her as an apostle, which they begrudgingly did, but she was never counted among their numbers. After the crucifixion, Mary submerged herself among the women and selflessly taught them and encouraged them to form stronger alliances of the faithful, which could meet in safety outside orthodox channels. While the men were bickering over points of doctrine, competing for leadership, and warding off the ever-encroaching signs of violence, Mary was building communities, teaching others how to heal, and helping to transcend the disease of fear. Wow! We could use Mary today, and there are many goddesses who have taken that role. Thank God. Okay, Jesus goes on. Before her life was over, she migrated to France along with Sarah, some members of my family, and a troop of other widows wanting to prepare for the masses in exile from Jerusalem that would soon be arriving. This community of women made up the rudimentary beginning of the first nunnery. Wow! which in those days was more for service to community than for prayer and sanctuary. Mary wrote extensive journals, memoirs, and letters of instruction to the new communities that were forming. Unfortunately, she would not sign most of them for fear they would be intercepted and destroyed even by the faithful. Custom still forbade women to write or teach. Wow, can you imagine that? Wow. No doubt she would have kept some of the manuscripts up till her death. Perhaps they will eventually surface. Wouldn't that be nice? The Book of Mary? She lived to a very old age and died peacefully in southwestern France beside a shepherd's well. Women of the free world owe much to Mary Magdalene. She carried a torch of spiritual liberty that has shone brightly through the ages. She was more daring and controversial than most people can even conceive, and for all the reasons they would never imagine. Her courageous life was a monumental tribute to the power of love, dignity, and freedom. Ooh, wow. Now Glenda, she replies, through Mary Magdalene, Yeshua proclaimed equality of men and women, although it would be centuries before the vine would bear much fruit. No wonder the suppression of her story has been so strong. Yeshua and his followers held visions of unity, liberty, and equality well beyond anything ever hoped for before. It took outrageous courage, depth of commitment, and faith to walk on the path that Mary did. Most of all, it took a heart of compassion to rise above all the oppression. From the beginning and throughout the ages, Jesus' sacred life was lived to bring wholeness, unity, and peace to all mankind. Daring, loving, transcendent, and sublime are words that characterize his endearing presence among us now. The story you are about to read is but one chapter in the magnificent continuing epic. And so that's the prologue in the book. This book here. Yeah. Glenda Green, author. Yeah. And wow, what a tremendous. So Women's Live began with Mary of Magdala. Here I thought it was in the 60s. Wow. Well, we've got too much light in this space. Let's cut it down a bit. Light inside rather than outside. Yeah. Let's try that. Wow, still. Well, everybody, any comments, please? Of course, I can't see them in YouTube, but I can see them in Zoom. So if you have any comments, I will check the chat. And there are none. Okay, so there's so much to share around what people call Christ's vision or heaven on earth, whatever you want to call it. It's the evolution of the human soul to remember its oneness with our Creator and live in heaven on earth. And so the vision, this clean, clear vision of, well, you know, I refrain from use the word Christ because it's got such a negative connotation in most people who were traumatized by early religion. But what I understand from reading A Course in Miracles and from reading this book here, Christ is a qualified frequency of the Son, and the one Son, the only begotten Son, John 3:16. And in A Course in Miracles, Jesus very clearly informs us that we all are the one Son, connected to the one Father, living on the Mother here on earth. And I think that's really beautiful. He keeps bringing in a quality to us all that, because there's so much richness in looking within into the mine, M-I-N-E, of treasures that we have available to us in meditation and prayer, sincere prayer, not supplication prayer, but gratitude prayer. And as you all know, blessings are also a frequency that enliven the richness of our experience here. Even though there appears to be, I use the word very, very appropriately, it appears to be there's a lot of hell on earth. Let me remind you that the teachings that are beyond this world is what will bring us peace. And those teachings, they remind us that this is a dream. This physical 3D world, this dream, is a dream we're having in the mind of God. And we are waking up in the dream, which means that what is unchangeable, what does not change, like the love that God created everything with, the source of all that you experience, not what you experience or how, but the source of it all. It's so difficult coming from a religious background and coming upon these higher teachings of the Essenes and of Jesus and all those that were waking up, even the Eastern mystics who were awake. They all taught the same truth. And finding that within is our journey. And once we find that within, we fall deeply, deeply in love with all that is, including us. And we begin to see how everyone on earth is playing their part. They're playing their role in the dream. And whatever that role is, it's important that they play that role, that they follow their script that they came in with to evolve their individual soul, in which is reaching to overcome the oppression of the world and be in joy all the time. Feel innocent and free like a child here, regardless of what the circumstances may show us. It's quite the paradox, and it's really not a polarity, which is what the mind sees. There is no opposite to love. A lot of people think that fear is the opposite, but it's just like light, light from the sun. The sun doesn't go out just because we experience darkness here for 12 hours on the earth. The sun is still shining. It's still there. It's always there. A very good metaphor for God's love. Yeah, that even when we are in the dark, that it is blazing and shining. And where will we find it when we're in the dark? In here. Yeah. You can remember what it feels like when it's piercing your skin. The warmth of the sun is something I think we all crave no matter where we live in the world. It's the same craving we have for the love of God, that warmth of feeling one with the light, as we drink it in, right? So this is why in my teachings I like to share going into the spirit channel by opening your crown chakra like we did in the beginning. Sorry it didn't get recorded. But, and breathing in eternity, breathing in eternity. In fact, let's do this. Let's do this again. So let's close your eyes, yes, and open your crown chakra and allow this to funnel light into you. Use your breath and breathing in golden sparks of white light. I call it the spirit channel because we're so adept at dialing in a channel and scrolling. And in the spirit channel, all we have is God's love and light to breathe in. And so today we're going to breathe in eternity. See if you can connect with that part of you inside that knows its immortality. Use your breath. Let your mind be a servant in this moment to guide you. And we're breathing in eternity, and we're exhaling infinity. Breathing in eternity, eternal love, and exhaling to infinity. Give it back to the source. And we'll do this for a little while at your own pace. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. With a very gentle ha in your exhale. They're instructing me to give you some words. On your next inhale, I want you to say out loud, I love myself deeply. I love myself deeply. Feel that land in your body. Now, when we say self, we're talking about all of you, spirit, mind, and body, your humanness as well as your soul, as well as your intellect. We're loving it all. I love myself completely. Breathe that in from above. I forgive myself for everything. And this would include forgiving yourself for misinterpreting the world, for all the judgments you've had around yourself and others. I forgive myself for everything. I trust and surrender to the light of my soul. to guide me, direct me, and heal me. Feel the light going into that part of your body where it's needed, that part of your mind that needs healing. Yes. I trust and surrender to the light of my soul. To guide me, to protect me from my ego, and to heal me with the Holy Spirit. Thank you, God, for this wonderful blessing. Oh, yes. Very good. Wow. Just tune in to now how that makes you feel. Feel all the light in your aura, in your mental, emotional, physical, and volitional bodies. So much light. This is the essence of living in heaven on earth, regardless of human circumstance. Peace be with you and all beings. Yes. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain, they would say in The Wizard of Oz. That would be the ego, blowing itself up to look so big and powerful, and yet there's a very meager, meek, shy, insecure soul behind the curtain who needs an ego in order to be accepted in the world. Yeah. So there you go. That's my transmission for today. And let's see. Where do we want to go from here? Let's go to blessings. Unless, John, you have a question you want to type in or come forward with. I'll give you a minute to think about that.
Hi, Wayne.
Yes, John. Welcome aboard.
I did put some questions in, but I don't think I pressed the right button. So
Yeah, I don't see them here.
one of them was the Hawaiian healing and culture places a lot of relevance on the connection to the ancestors.
Yes.
Is that useful and relevant if one is involved in like a therapy, a healing practice? Is it relevant for the everyday person?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Great question, John.
And if in that case, how does one encourage that connection
Very good.
for oneself?
Very good. Okay. Yeah, there's two things to mention about ancestors. One is that when you study the Hawaiian culture and other earth-based ancient cultures, it's easy for the ego to have a judgment that they are worshiping ancestors, ancestor worship. And that is not the truth. What they are doing in Hawaii and what we can do today is we can acknowledge and bless our ancestors. And there's a very big difference there. Worshipping creates an attachment that is not clean. Yeah. Whereas blessing and acknowledgement that doesn't create any attachment at all. It's a very reverent communication to what came before. And when you bless anything, no matter what it is, it cannot hurt you. because a blessing is a miracle. It's applying love to something. So I would say the way to do that is what the process we just did in our meditation just now. When you go vertical and you establish yourself one in the spirit channel, then you can have a thought. You can employ a thought to have the blessing of the ancestral imprints, those spirits, those souls that are actually responsible for you being in a body. We are the tip of the pencil that is writing the script of our bloodline. And I say pencil because we can erase any part of the script we want and rewrite it. And that is the advantage of connecting with our ancestors, is that as we choose to allow them in consciousness to be around us, this is the Hawaiian thing, that when you summons your ancestral lineage, earth lineage or stellar lineage, they will surround you, your aura, this energy. Now, once again, there's nothing happening outside your mind. The ego thinks everything is happening out here, and nothing could be further from the truth. So even though you are envisioning them surrounding you, it's happening in here. Yeah. And you can acknowledge them for what they could and could not process, for the gifts that you have because they were carried forth. And in Ho'oponopono, there is actually a process of sharing forgiveness with your ancestors. And what that would look like is something like this. You see, when you bring things verbally, they're in the 3D world. So when you say, rather than just think the words, when you say, ancestors, please forgive me for perhaps not bearing fruit with all the gifts that you have given me. Thank you, I love you. And you would relieve any guilt or shame about perhaps not living your dream. And then you can also have it go the other way. Have the ancestors say to you in your mind, please forgive us for all that we could not process and we dumped into your bloodline that you have to deal with. Thank you, I love you. So it goes both ways. And this is part of clearing your ancestral lineage, clearing any obstruction or patterns that are maybe running inside subconsciously, where you want their support and they will give it to you. Their love is very palatable when you tune into. It's like a great grandparent, and a great grandchild, and through the spirit channel, it's very similar. So working with the ancestors is very powerful medicine. Yeah. Does that answer your question, John?
Yeah, that's great, Wayne. Thank you. That's good.
Yeah, you can see now why I love questions. Because I have no idea how much I actually, how much knowledge I have in here till somebody asks a question, and then it just begins to flow. So blessing our ancestors, blessing everyone and everything. Here's your assignment this week, should you choose to accept it. Bless everything and everyone. Even bless the judgments you have and laugh at them, because Judgments are the only thing that hold us away from living the miracle. Yeah, so a judgment doesn't have any power. But when we have a judgment, it does put a limitation on us experiencing the miracle in the moment. Because judgment and love cannot be in the same space. Judgment comes primarily from fear, creates a contraction. Love is a total expansion of God. So a judgment, you can see how that's going to block that, right? Yeah. And if you look carefully at your mind, you'll see it's a judgment machine. Constantly, 24/7. Even when you sleep, it's throwing up all kinds of subconscious particles that aren't processed. A lot of them fear-based. Yeah. So that's your assignment. The power of blessing. I want you to initiate this week and bless everything. Just try it for one day and see what happens. It'll blow your mind. Even when things don't seem to be going right, when you bless, it will change. Yeah. Because the blessing, it just opens, it can swallow any contraction. It's the love that holds everything together here on earth. Yeah. So I'm blessing all of you, and I'm wondering if I should sing a song. I am spirit alive. I am spirit alive. I am love alive. I am love alive. I am. That's a chant that's on the Great Love album in my discography, the Great Love Aloha Nui album. And the chant was born on the island of Kauai in answer to a question I said to Kauai while I was driving around the island on the work one day from the east side to the north side, North Shore. And I was noticing that Kauai looked more beautiful every day. Every day I felt more beauty. The windows open, I'm driving 60 miles an hour, gentle breeze coming through, and sunlight, all the colors of green and the grass and the shrubs and the mountains. Even the highway was beautiful. And I said to Kauai, how is it possible that you are more beautiful every day? And she gave me this chant. I am spirit alive. I am spirit alive. I am, I am love alive. I am love alive. I am. And there you go. Have a most excellent day. Wow. You'll find that chant once again on the Great Love album, WaynePowellMusic.com. It's the last track, track number 11. It's also on the original Innocence audio meditation album as the last track as well. And it's on YouTube, and it's the most popular YouTube that I have in hundreds of YouTubes. I think it's up to 40 or 50,000 views. People of the I Am persuasion just love that chant. And of course, it's delivered with my partner, my female partner, singing, and the angels playing on keyboards. And there's a tabla grand finale at the end. It's really sweet chant. I Am chant. So that's the name of God. I think we could end there. It's been a pleasure and a blessing to be with you today, even though I couldn't get all the cameras to work. And I forgot to turn on the recording, but I'm blessing it all anyway, because I love you. I love you, love you, love you. So take good care, John. Love you, brother. Thanks for showing up. I think I scared Penelope off with all that reading, but nevertheless, I hope that you on YouTube and you on Facebook enjoyed this hour. And please leave me a note in the comments. Like, share. It helps to spread the light. God bless you. Aloha and ahui ho. Malama pono. Malama pono.